Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Faster Tazpoles. As you can see, I'm with my boy Drake. Down there is Luke. As you can see, we are in a code green. Drake is already on the mothership. I'm over here trying to... Yeah, I'm trying to protect myself. We are in a code green, ladies and gentlemen. It is wild right now what's going on in the world of aliens and extraterrestrials. Boys, how you doing?
Hey, hi. How you doing? Wherever you watches anybody, they know that is. YouTube.
YouTube? The YouTubes?
The YouTube.
Oh, Drake, I just realized. Luke's alive.
I'm alive.
Luke's alive, dude.
He survived. Yep, he's been cloned.
He did survive.
Fucking extraterrestrials. Am I missing hair, dude? Right here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, look at that. So,
Wow,
Luke, we did have your funeral on the pod last night. We said that you were driving to your local date spot that you and Tyler used to go on dates with at a lake with Tyler's cremated ashes, and you hit a bump, and then you shot Tyler, like you sucked up Tyler into your lungs on accident, and rolled over your call multiple times and died yourself. So you did just come back from the life. We said that
came back from the life.
You
from
came
dead,
back
yeah.
from the
Fuck.
life, baby.
So I
Came
came.
from the life.
So I was.
Oh god, this thing ain't working.
All right. Hang on. Is this what they're telling you to say?
I'm actually overheating with this thing. So I need some coolant.
Yeah, dude, you better put some engine oil on.
Yeah. So basically, so you died yesterday, which I'm amazed that we're talking to you right now. I don't know how you came back to life, but we said that because you and Tyler had an intimate relationship, and you fucked Tyler so many times in your days of dating that Tyler wanted to fuck you once by being inside your lungs, and that's how he caused you to die. So.
Wow, so he took it to the next level.
Yeah, he did.
Because I don't remember any of it. It was such a crazy time.
No, 100%. Yeah, it all happened so quick to you. Yeah,
I mean, I came back from life, so I mean,
right.
it's gonna.
Would you say
with that either?
Right?
Nobody can argue with that either, dude.
He's kind of like an Emotep dude. Like he inhaled Tyler's dust and was able to get more life back again.
Chuck. You know who that is?
That's an old cartoon.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, look at the reference.
Cock nose.
That's weird because Luke's like 12 years old. Luke's like 12 years old. Luke's like 12 years old.
That's
weird.
Dude.
You
better take that hat off, dude. You're like stop sucking on that pen or something. You got something going on there with you.
Crazy.
Couldn't even wind it properly, even.
This guy.
It's terrible, dude.
Fuck you, dude. I don't care. I play by my own rules.
And you still lose.
Yeah, so I hope everyone's having a good afternoon here. So we are going to touch on a lot of shit that's going on in the world of the extraterrestrial. There's so much shit happening. Kind of going to brush on two main scenarios that happened. If you guys watched the first episode, which, if you're here, what are you doing? There's literally a portion before this that fills everything in. Me and Drake literally sat here last night, had a funeral for Luke, and you're just going to sit here and watch part 2? Go watch fucking part 1. What are you doing? That's a whole entire expose about the whole situation we're about to talk about. You're basically setting yourself up for spoilers. This is a load of horseshit.
Yeah.
Anyways. Luke died for this moment, and you're going to stay in part 2? Go back to part 1.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? I'll put the freaking link in the description. Go back to part 1. I'll wait.
It's pretty sad that you're not there.
I'll wait.
Sad, you know.
Respectful.
Kind of hurts.
For those who are loyal and watched part 1, welcome back to part 2. So we are going to be talking about everything and anything about the expose. We kind of digest that, which was going on. And Phil and Luke as well. He didn't get a chance to watch it. He doesn't even watch our podcast. Shows you how much we suck. So basically what happened was that expose with the whistleblower incident with the military. And the other thing we are going to touch on is the Battle of Las Vegas. The supposed multiple sighting ship that crashed in Las Vegas in someone's backyard. Only weird thing about this is that the guys were working on a car at like 10 o'clock at night, like in the backyard. Who does that? I mean, who's working on a car?
They're in their house, brother.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, that's sketchy, but so yeah, that's so this supposed being craft that touched down in the backyard that was captured on multiple different cameras live, and then also at the same time a 911 call was picked in, which was pretty chilling. We'll actually play the audio from that and digest it as well here on the podcast today to kind of go over how credible we think that 911 call is for the situation. But as you can see, Drake is already in the spacecraft. He already made contact with the beings. No surprise there with how many languages he speaks. I'm trying to avoid being probed here. As you can see, we are in a code green. And Luke down there actually has such an absolutely ugly face that he is just too terrified to show himself on webcam. So
It's true.
he won't be showing himself anytime soon. He just
It's
can't
like
get
the
over the fact of
opposite.
how literally ugly he is. I mean,
Well,
he
It's
is.
the
the one thing
opposite
that
of
happened,
how
he
like
didn't-
Cleopatra was. Like she was so
Yeah.
beautiful. Like she started wars.
the
No,
opposite.
I'm the
yeah.
exact opposite. Like
Yeah.
I swear.
Well, I
this-
mean, it makes sense if you get
Hey,
one.
hey,
you
Luke.
gotta get
Hey,
the
Luke.
other.
Can you give us the
Yeah,
sponge?
exactly.
Luke, can you
Yeah.
give us the SpongeBob saying, please?
give you a SpongeBob saying.
Can
I'm
you give
ugly,
me
I'm
the
proud.
SpongeBob? Yes, my boy.
I was gonna say, Luke. So Doc told me beforehand, why he's so ugly is just because the car accident he was just in really got
Mhm.
him messed up. You know.
Oh fuck!
Yeah,
he had you know what? He actually probably had an allergic reaction to Tyler.
Yep, that's exactly what it was.
I know
Tyler
what
always
it was.
made him
Burnt
swell
away
up.
his nose. Yeah, burnt away his nose. You know.
More ways than one.
Tyler was
Yeah,
Tyler was always able to get him swell.
Yeah, it really messed with his head.
It was a horrible time. It wiped my memory completely.
But you're back.
Yep.
So I just
Unfortunately,
gotta take
though-
your word for it.
Unfortunately, though, we did confirm with Luke that Tyler is still dead. He did not
Yeah.
make it. Apparently, he
Yeah.
didn't survive the car crash either. His dust just he became dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what Tyler was.
It was pretty sad.
It was sad. Rip Tyler. Well, I mean, we don't have his ashes anymore, so.
No.
Oh, I still got mine in my bowl.
Which,
Oh, I
is,
still
which
have-
explains why we
I
crashed, because I mean if he was dead he couldn't drive the car.
Right.
I still
But-
have the harmonica that I made out of his bones.
Nice.
Oh nice.
Mine's in the dust is inside a cooking bowl next to my cooking bowl with flour in it. So, you know,
I think
actually
Luke-
put eggs in the wrong one.
You know, I think Luke's is the rest of what Luke was able to grab is actually in his Folgers container, which is next to his coffee in his coffee cabinet. So
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Tyler enjoyed coffee, and in the end, he was enjoyed as coffee.
That is true.
I wonder
So
if you could do
yeah,
that-
I guess.
I wonder if you could do that, dude. Like, this is kind of fucked up to say, but what if a Make-A-Wish kid was like, I
Oh,
want my
man.
body to be turned into coffee. Like, that's
Yeah.
my fucking. Are you gonna not do
Yeah,
it?
you gotta
know?
do it. What are you
Right?
gonna back out?
Yeah, or like, what if there's
what, are you
a
gonna not
what,
do it, dude?
what-
You're
what if
gonna be
there's
an
a
asshole
brewer-
and just like not help me out,
what if there
Suddenly
was like
some dreams aren't as good as others. Like
right?
come on.
what if there was like
Fucking
what if there was like a brewery guy who's like, yeah, I want them to make me into a beer. I want to be a select brew that
Right.
everyone can
That's what I'm
drink.
saying, dude. Like,
Yep.
you know, I want to be
Limited
select
time.
fluid. I want you to drink a bottle of me,
Yeah, it's possible.
specifically
right.
you. You know,
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's possible.
right? Like, what are you gonna do? Not do it? And be an asshole? I'd fucking
Yeah.
fire him.
I'd fire.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd
You
sue.
know? Yeah, 100%.
Let's go make a wish. Now make
Yep.
some wishes come true. You know.
Right? Got to do something at least for us.
Yeah. So
But-
upsetting.
Yeah. Either way, okay. So back on though, I was just that was just a toilet thought there.
How long?
I
What
have
is
quite a
your
bit of those.
longest toilet thought?
Oh man, I've had some.
Dude,
Dude,
was
I've
gone
had.
for a while.
I've had some ones where I forgot that my legs were even numb. Like all of a sudden you look down and you're like, wait, are those my feet? You know it's a long one when your balls are starting to get numb and you're like, okay, that was you're approaching an hour is when you start to feel that.
Yeah, dude.
Approaching an hour.
The toilet seat is the most comfortable seat to sit down on, and then it quickly becomes the least comfortable.
It
Yeah.
fades quickly.
You know?
There's a grace period there and then it fades very quickly. It's a very fleeting high.
You know.
I used to work at this place, and a big restaurant, and I used to work there with my buddy, and we would just have nothing to do, or we just want to hide. So literally would go sit in the shitter for like an hour and a half. That's my longest. Just
You know that
sitting
was
there.
you know that
Hour
was
and a half.
You know that was very prevalent for me, Luke, was in high school. Us football guys
Yeah.
would literally, after lunch, we'd go like for almost 45 minutes of study hall, we would sit in the bathroom and just chill and just like
Yeah.
chat and hang out, take a half an hour shit. And then
Yeah, right.
and then the urinals, you know, the downstairs bathroom by the principal's office, that the urinals are right across from the actual toilets themselves. So if we ever had any like freshmen or anyone come in, we would just open the stalls and talk to them as they're pissing. Like, hey, how's it going, bud? How's your day?
Sign open up. We're gonna talk. That's fucking wild. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, man, that was
exactly.
funny.
It's just it was that was the fucking most fun part about it all, is just hiding in the bathrooms. So many fucking bathrooms, such little amounts of kids in that school.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
So I hope everyone is having a good evening. I guess we'll start with the since it's fresh in everyone's minds, the expose whistleblower here.
Well,
So
let's
basically,
let's start with the crash first. 'Cause that one's smaller. There's less to talk about with that one.
really, I thought there'd be more.
What are you talking about, dude?
I don't know, bro. There's a lot
Talking about-
all right,
talking about-
okay. So, Battle of Las Vegas, as Drake and I are dubbing it here, just kind of a play on words from Battle of Los
I didn't
Angeles,
say
the
anything about
alien
that.
movie.
He's
Drake
reeling you into
lit-
that one.
Yeah.
Drake
He
solely came
really-
up with that. Drake solely came up with that. That was literally all of Drake's. I can show you the text confirmed.
Show
The
me
text will
text.
be
Oh,
the
it's
text.
text.
I'll post
Yeah.
a picture of the text
Perfectly.
in our Spotify so you guys can see. Like, I confirm
Show
that's
it
what
right
Drake
now,
said.
right on live. Really confirm it right now.
My phone actually mysteriously just died, so I have to figure that out.
You're just playing on it though.
So, basically what happened was, do you guys know what day it was? Do you guys have a date or what day or time it was at?
Brother, I don't even know what day it is today. All right.
Okay. I believe it was something about like May 5th or May 14th, and it was like
Yeah, it was earlier this month or whatever.
and it was supposedly it was at I
Or
think
night-
anywhere
that's
between 9:30 and 11 o'clock at night. Basically what happened was the first thing that was started was a dash cam footage of a cop's body cam caught something very low orbit that crashed actually physically into the adjacent area there. Maybe I'd say he was maybe Drake, maybe a mile away, 2 miles away from that, judging by the video.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Maybe it could have been a little bit more. It could have been like a couple miles. It was probably honestly like 5 or 10 miles away from the actual crash site. Because the police took about a half an hour to actually get to the fucking location.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
Wow.
Yeah, it was out there.
if the dude was a mile away, he didn't do. What the fuck was he doing for a half an hour? Did he get on his back and crawl? You know?
So it started there, and then there was a Ring dash cam that was nearby, apparently this area facing away from the crash.
It was a
But you
garage
see,
camera.
yeah, you see the illumination off the houses in front of it, and you can see clearly the thing moving through the sky, and then you hear a very loud bang. And that is the other thing. It records a very big bang, like a bang that should leave significant. Now, this is what gets me, Drake. A bang like that would leave significant damage. Like, you watch the camera shake on there.
Yeah, you see the camera shake.
The next morning, the only thing that was
Nothing.
there was rings. Was a couple of rings on the ground in gravel. Faint rings.
And
Yeah.
The other thing that you left out too was that this object that was falling through the sky was bluish green,
Yeah.
and it did not
Yeah.
have a
It
very
was a
long
weird-
streak. It did not have a streak behind it at all. It was like
Yeah.
a flamey, like almost like that kind of like,
Yeah.
like to it.
And there was, I think in the video there was a few small tufts of stuff that came off of it, but that was it. It wasn't anything like a few small tufts of
Very
things that broke off. Yeah.
very interesting.
And then after, of course, the explosion, you get the very chilling, which we will play for you on the podcast here, a very chilling 911 call that I think is pretty insane. And I think it's something that we're going to have a listen to here just to kind of understand.
You want me to pull up the video? Or you just watch the
Yeah.
video here?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Just to have everyone kind of show like what has gone here. So yeah, Luke, what do you think of all this?
I believe in aliens. I think it's fucking awesome. I only seen the chest cam of the cop and then a quick TikTok just on like a guy talking about it.
Yeah.
That's about it. But what I was saying before though is devil's advocate.
That's a good one, Drake. Yeah, that's a good one.
This one?
And
yeah.
It's that
Alright, now
like
take a look
these
at this
these
last
Pause
aliens.
it for a sec. Yeah, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Vegas police body cam footage from last month. The video shows a green flash across the sky. There it is.
And that came just after.
Okay, hang on. Let me do.
Yeah, keep going, Luke. What were you
Let's do
saying?
this one right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and this advanced civilization comes from fucking stars and stars away, planets away, wherever. And they're so advanced and they're so fucking smart They get all the way here to Earth and they crash. And they've been doing it for decades. They come here, all the way here, and crash. Boom. Like,
So what if
that's
the
the only thing
means?
that stops me from being like, yep, it's all real. Like, that's
So
like
what if
the last step. I
So
can't
Doc,
get
what
past.
if the means of let's say they in order to travel such far distances so quickly, let's say they travel intra-dimensionally, and when they exit out of the secondary dimension back into the lower dimension, it's such high turbulence that sometimes they do crash after coming out of it.
If we're going that crazy with it, then sure. But I was thinking other than different dimensions. Same dimension, but
Okay.
just different part of space.
I just think that space is that hard, dude, and I think space is that
Like-
unpredictable. And I was telling Drake, I honestly think, like, how funny would it be if it was, like, literally the fact that it was wind or gravity that they don't know about? That there's something on our planet that they're not
But-
used to. They might not know
but,
that
like,
that exists. If we don't know that
we
elements
know the
exist.
gravity and stuff of other planets. And
Yeah,
if they have the
100%
technology
know
to
the
fly
gravity for
through
sure.
space and time, they're gonna know our gravity here.
Yeah, but how are they going to know that there's wind on the planet?
I'm sure
There's
we know
solar
the
wind coming
How,
we know
how,
the winds.
how,
on
how
other
are they going to know
planets.
the adverse weather conditions?
Again, we know the exact weather of other planets, and we're planet Earth, and we can only get to the moon.
Yeah.
So,
but
like, I'm
does it-
pretty sure they would be able to know what is our planet is capable of.
Yeah, but what if they developed from an entire
Isn't
different
alive.
evolutionary timeline where none of that exists and they have no
Especially
idea?
if they've
Well,
been
that-
coming
that
here
always
for
exists.
how many years? You know,
I just think there's
like,
there's a
oh,
way that
they're here, crash. Like,
Yeah, I think there's the way that they're traveling.
I think
And
it's
it
a fair
has to
shit.
do with the hyper light speed that they choose, whether it's again they travel interdimensionally or maybe they have to create a singularity with a wormhole to travel through that. And when they come out of that wormhole, the destabilization process is just so strong that it causes a ton of turbulence and they crash.
Dude, think about that though. How wild would, dude? If honestly, if we became,
If it's like that
If it's
hard
like
still to
that, then
travel
holy
through.
dude,
shit.
honestly,
Oh,
if we
no.
if we became one united planet, because we just found out, dude, think about how insane that would be. All of history, everyone
It
would
would
have thought
have to.
differently, and in our lifetime, we're alive. We discover that that's not the case. Think about that, guys. That's
yeah, we
huge.
would
That's-
absolutely
that's-
have to be a united planet.
Out of all of
Right.
this, out of all the centuries of people
an
being
invasion-
alive,
We need an invasion that happened from outer space for sure, not just like these visitors.
yeah,
But like a full on like military operation invasion that requires
dude,
us and
dude,
we have to,
out of
you know,
all
send
of
our
this,
nukes out of blah blah blah. You know,
out of all the
Hey,
centuries of
let's watch
people,
this video.
hold on, wait, just real quick. Out of all the centuries of people being alive, the fact that it's if it's our generation that finds this out, that is winning the lottery more than any other amount of money can fix for anyone. You realize that? Like, you're winning the lottery. You are literally the one generation out of all the people who are on the spectrum of people who are alive right now, out of the millennia of people who have been alive since cavemen, since we can start evolutionizing, all of those people, and we're the ones to witness that. Think about that, dude. That's winning
We're
the lottery.
also the last ones to know what it was like being in a lonely space.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
even fucking scarier.
Unless
Can you
there's also a
imagine?
shittier like
Nobody
little
else would
caveman
ever-
somewhere out there on another planet, be an idiot caveman.
It's being an idiot, stupid idiot caveman.
You know what I mean?
All right,
Stupid moron caveman.
let's watch the
But, check
show.
Check this video out, okay?
Southern Nevada is abuzz
This is
tonight
the,
with stories about the crash of an unknown
This is the one that I watched.
object
This is a
and
good
the
one.
alleged sighting of strange creatures in the backyard of a Northwest Valley home.
So it was last night that 8 News Now investigator David Charnes reported about how Metro Police responded back on May 1st after receiving a strange call from a very frightened family. Well, our report generated a global response, and now piecing together the sequence of events has been kind of tricky, in part because the primary witnesses have been almost as elusive as the beings they say they encountered. Chief Investigator George Knapp is as perplexed as the rest of us. George.
As you know, this is not our first UFO rodeo. We first heard about the incident in early May via the Metro Police grapevine. The incident has a lot in common with other bizarre cases from around the world: an alleged crash, strange beings, and bits and pieces that don't make sense. But the police took this seriously, and so do we. Just before midnight on April 30th, skywatchers across
That's
several
weird,
western
man.
states saw a
Yeah.
bright
Right.
fireball
Look at
shoot
that.
through the heavens. A police officer working in the Northwest Valley caught a glimpse of the colorful object on his body cam. At nearly the same time, a Ring camera in the area recorded a strange noise and what sounds like a crash. One family living in a ranch-style home had a much
I guess there
closer
was no
view of the
shade.
object. Two brothers and their father were working on a vehicle in their yard when they caught a glimpse of a sparkly object as it came crashing down, then were hit by what they describe as a shock wave. One of the
say
witnesses,
they were
a
working
young
in the
man named
backyard?
Angel, has stated when the brothers looked into the
backyard?
yard where the object landed, that spot was obscured and blurry, as if by unknown form of camouflage. What they saw next prompted a frantic call to 911.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like
Okay.
8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes,
Okay.
like I can't explain it, and big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
8 News Now investigators have spoken with family members multiple times in the past 4 weeks, but each of the 3 times we accepted their invitation to do an interview, they didn't answer the door or their phone. These are some of the claims they've made in other public forums. Multiple family members backed up the story in an initial police report we obtained. Angel says they heard the patter of multiple feet in the yard. They later heard footsteps on their roof. They saw one of the 8-foot-tall creatures climb behind the controls of a large front loader stored in the yard as if trying to engage it. He got a good look at one of the creatures, he said, a greenish-grayish being with large eyes and long legs. He says he could hear its deep breaths, and when he locked eyes, he was, in essence, frozen in place, couldn't move. In the middle of the yard, where the object had crashed, then vanished, a circular impression was left in the soil.
Okay, where is this on your property?
Metro sources say the police dispatcher initially wondered whether to send a crisis intervention team to help the troubled witness, but then took the incident seriously. 2 officers arrived 38 minutes after the call, and by then had heard from other officers. They proceeded cautiously and managed some nervous laughs.
I ain't dealing with that.
A few days later, the family says 2 Metro sergeants returned to the scene to ask follow-up questions. The family says they also saw men in suits and sunglasses driving in a car with government plates cruising slowly past the house in the following days. Nellis and Creech have denied any interest or involvement with the incident. Metro has indicated they believe the family that something crashed in their yard. But what?
Someone else has access to it.
You know, you mentioned, George, in that piece that, they were frozen because so many people have been critical of, like, why didn't they get their phone out? Why didn't they shoot the video? Do we know if there's even any video of this incident?
Yes and no. So there's a surveillance camera in the backyard. The property owner keeps that because he's got a lot of expensive equipment there. What we were told is that at the moment this thing comes down and crash, this camera went out, and it was out for a couple of minutes. When it came back on, the object was gone, but the circle was there. We've been told by Angel in multiple phone conversations that he shot video of the creatures. We haven't seen it, and we don't know anybody else who's seen it yet, so maybe he'll release it at some point.
It's getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, all over.
All right, George, thanks for that.
Huh.
Man.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, that's
I said no.
No, he's not going to be able to release that video because the government won't let him.
yeah. I'm sure they already have it.
Yep, if they were already driving down the street and government vehicles, they already got that under wraps.
So what do you think about that, Luke? Now that you've seen the whole brush of that.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of it, but now that I got the whole picture, yeah, it's pretty damn cool. I really like to believe that there really is something there, or that they really did see something.
I mean, man, that's pretty compelling. And like that kid, like he's got pretty broken English. Like it sounds like he wouldn't be messing around with that kind of stuff, It didn't sound malicious in that call, like he was being a prankster.
Yeah,
he sounded like
I
he
don't know.
was genuinely feared. Like he was genuinely. It sounded like he was scared. Like it genuinely sounded like he was like, please help. Like, we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Find out that it's just like a Wendigo.
Yeah, super
Yeah,
super
scarier.
interesting though, right?
Yeah, that's cool though. I like how it all kind of adds up. Imagine being
That's-
a cop though. It has to be like, yeah, go comfort these people. They thought they saw aliens.
Yeah, man.
It
It
probably
makes for an interesting story to tell your wife after shift.
yeah. If you fucking
Pretty
make
crazy. Obviously,
Yeah,
the kid's story is also a little weird though, because he's not releasing any of the picture or whatever that he said he has. Like, why wouldn't you just do it right away?
yeah.
You know. But so that's a little weird as well. And then also there wasn't really like the circle they painted out. I just don't see it. It sort of looks like it could be the track from a loader.
Skid steer?
Like the one that
Yeah.
they have there,
Intersecting
Yeah, it could be a skid steer.
tracks.
You know,
That's
yeah,
what I've
you
been
know, a
seeing.
lot of you can see a lot of circles move, tracks from like, so that could just be like a little bit left over from one. So it's a
That
little
is
weird.
that is valid.
That's making me like question this more. So is again, we had that fucking blue green flight through the sky, and then something also crashed on that.
You
Ring
just,
camera.
dude,
That
dude,
was-
everything
yeah,
just
you know?
corroborates. That's what scares me. It's not like
It's just weird, you know.
it's not like those kids seen that happen and they're like, haha, let's make a prank. It happened
Right.
instantaneous. It was the light in the sky, the loud sound, the crash, and then within a minute or two was a scared ass Mexican kid who probably is illegal too, let's be honest, might not even be a green
Come on,
card.
What do you mean? That's
No.
stupid to say.
I
They have
know.
there's a whole like decently
Uh.
large house right there. There's
I know.
a nice Pontiac Firebird working in the driveway. Like,
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for stereotyping. That's not true. But
That's fucking hysterical.
Oh shit. Yeah, no,
but, no, definitely,
I understand.
Still very. Yeah, no, I mean, I get,
But
I get
but-
what you're
but
saying. Like, it
the
brings
government-
more
the-
speculation to it. There could be a family that maybe has been illegal in the past, or
Yeah.
there could be some illegals in the area.
But they could just be scared of the
Yeah,
government in
you know.
general because of what the government has done to Hispanics in the past. They could just be terrified of the government. So they see these
100%. You know,
they
so
see these
can
guys
call
in the
in.
black outfits and stuff, and they're like, we're not dealing with this. We're
Yeah,
gonna
definitely.
we're not even. That's why they're ignoring all the opportunities for interviews too, because they're like, we don't want any repercussions from the government. They've made their presence known. We're just gonna go about our lives and forget this has ever happened. That's what they're gonna do.
Right, the government could have already contacted them for all we know, like the very next day. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean,
Shit, that night.
right, exactly. You know,
That night, they're not fucking around.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
and also the fact that illegals are allowed in this country at the moment. You know, they're being let in. So I mean, that wouldn't really make it that big of a difference if they were just let in or not. You know.
I'm sure I'm sure their phones are tapped already.
Oh, I guarantee it, 100%.
Yeah.
But
And-
no, I
and
think
their
that's
internet-
definitely an interesting one for sure. Like it's
Yeah.
interesting. I'd like to see how it advances further on. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
it's
said
really
that
compelling.
They followed it in early May, and it's already June here, mid-June here. So I mean, we still haven't gotten any photo evidence that the kids released at all. So I mean, we'll see if that ever happens. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But on to our bigger story here. The interview that we just did a podcast on that's got some information in it for sure, and that is very convincing for sure based on the steps taken by this person and this person's credibility as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's this, and then also not to mention the fact that there have been people I could even say more credible than he is that have come out and said things as well, but it's not been taken seriously because they've just said it in like the media or whatever. This person actually submitted a formal grievance and filed a form for a whistleblowers protection form, as well as submitted information to an attorney general that's
Wow,
in the
no kidding.
government to corroborate his evidence.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like this isn't just for fun. You know, this isn't just some high level clearance guy coming out and saying this. Because we had that dude from NASA that came out of NASA. He works with Israel. He was Israel's security defense general. He was Israel's Iron Dome head engineer for that, I guess. He was also Israel's space program top guy, and he's worked very closely with NASA and the U.S. government. And he came out saying that aliens are real and we have evidence, but he can't show it, obviously. And then also, not to mention, we have that Canadian dude that was up in the Canadian High General as well, coming out saying that that again, aliens are real, we have evidence, but he can't show it because it's under acts of treason. And that's for anybody asking, why this guy doesn't just show the evidence that he does have, because he did submit it to the Attorney General, and the Attorney General did say it was credible 100% and it's moving to Congress. He cannot, because if he actually releases his evidence is still classified under a high classification, and that can be, the U.S. government can and will try him for treason and silence him 100%. You know, so he has to be very careful about what he actually says and releases. So in that regard, obviously he's not somebody that doesn't hate the U.S. He's worked for the U.S. government his entire life. He loves the U.S. government. He loves the U.S. people. So I mean, he doesn't want to have to leave the country and hide like Edward Snowden. You know.
Yeah,
So,
he's
Russia.
genuinely fearing for his life. So he's just approaching this as, I know things are going on, that it's unethical that these things are going on, and I would like the government to interfere the situation.
So, so some of the big crazy bullet points that he had mentioned, Doc, he had mentioned that we have bits and pieces of craft, we have salvaged craft, and we have full craft. Based on these, retrieval programs that the U.S. Goes on. One of these craft is from Italy that crashed in 1930. What was it? 4? I think he said.
I think it was 43
33?
or 43. I think, yeah.
It was when Mussolini was in power still.
Yeah. Mussolini was still there, but towards the end of it.
Crashed in there. Mussolini took it over, handed it to the Vatican, and the Vatican took it and handed it to the U.S. I guess. Or maybe they had it for a while, and then once Mussolini got taken out of office, and somebody else got put in, and when they were a U.S. ally at that point, then I think the Vatican took it over and handed it to the U.S. at that point.
Yeah. I think it was like kind of help proving to the U.S. that they are like willing to work with them.
Now an ally. Yeah. So anyways, there's one right there, which is super interesting. 2 is, he said, the possibility that these craft are interdimensional is real. And he's saying that these may not be extraterrestrial as an alien, but they are definitely non-human. And he's saying that there's a potential that they could be from a higher dimension traveling down to ours. And he said that it was it was sort of like an organic AI. I believe he said at one point as well. Like, I'm not 100% sure. Something similar akin to that. Not exactly like organic, not exactly like an extraterrestrial, you know. Thirdly, he said that these craft have engaged with U.S. forces and have killed U.S. Soldiers.
Yeah, he confirmed that the UAPs have in fact engaged aggressively and killed U.S. craft numerous times, apparently.
Yep.
He also confirmed that the Roswell incident was real, and they took a craft and remains of a species away as well.
Wow.
Yep. And then also,
it's a lot to grasp, man. It's a lot to grasp.
So there's a bunch of reports that come out from both the U.S., Russia, China, and anybody that has nuclear silos, essentially, that these craft will come over, like suddenly come in, hover above the nuclear silo, and then turn off their nuclear equipment. And as they scramble the jets and they get in close, and they just take off and leave, the nuclear equipment comes back on. It's happened numerous times in the U.S. with the U.S. Russia has reported it. China has reported it as well. But he's saying that is a phenomenon that is actually happening, and then we have evidence of that actually happening as well, not just reports, you know. And then I think those were the main points that they'd spoken about. Obviously, they really drove into the fact that the U.S. government is lying to the American people about, like, really drove that fact in about, like, what we have and what's going on and whatnot.
He literally asked him point blank, like 3 times in a row, is the U.S. lying to their citizens? Yes, they are. It was like that every single time.
I would 100% know and believe for a fact that there is very little our government has ever told us that is the truth, and that is about
God, yeah.
literally anything.
Yep.
You know they lie to
100%.
us.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, there's not
Even-
anybody that
sheep.
says that they trust our government. They need you need help.
They are the government.
Like, go
you know.
get help, because if you
If
seriously
anybody says
think
they
you can
trust
look
the
at this
government, they work
government,
with the government. You know.
You're
Yeah.
a sheep.
They work in the highest parts of the government.
and that is beside fucking political views. Both sides, the government lies to you no matter what.
Mhm.
Yep, we are sheep. There is so much stuff that we don't know about that works behind closed doors.
You know, so those are some pretty big, some of the pretty big key points there. How was I just gonna touch on? No, I'm just gonna say something about it. Son of a bitch. Either way, some pretty hardcore, like some hardcore stuff that he has, you know, and obviously he's got the evidence for it to submit it to the Attorney General.
So a little bit of background, Luke. He is a decorated
Oh,
U.S. intelligence government
Operator.
official. He was one of the titans of who spearheaded the UAP program and was in it for several years. The what's that? What is it? Unidentified aerial phenomenon is UAP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he literally helped spearhead that and like was part of it for many years before backing out and then he started. As he said, he got all these stories and started to kind of dig deep. He was actually like investigating this like secretly, not telling anyone, investigating this himself, like gathering all of his findings to do this whistleblower. Like he literally was going through all of these different officials who were confiding in him about all this intelligence of situations that happened, recoveries, interactions with them, the media that's found and sent from people's phones or uncovered that they've hidden from us. You know what I mean? All of that, he said, he's uncovered over like 5 years of so this guy's been doing this for a while. It wasn't just fucking around. Like, and he is 100%, like, everyone checked their credibility and he is 100% who he is. Like, he's not lying.
Yeah.
He ain't no Timothy from the group home. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and a lot of also high-ranking officials have come forward, not publicly, but apparently to the news station and the person that was working with him on this, and vouched for his authenticity as well.
Yeah.
No kidding.
So this is a big.
It's a big thing, man. It's a big thing.
You know?
People don't realize this could literally be like our world would change as we know it, understanding everything about what everything is in the world. You know what I mean? We're not the dominant species. We're not even close.
Definitely.
Hey, you don't know that. Willpower's a hell of a thing.
Yeah. I'll show you the best plane in the world behind a 50 cal.
Exactly.
And the aliens just like pull a Neo and just stop the bullets fucking from flying to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just sitting there with my American flag bandana, like freedom.
Gonna crash by entering our orbit. Wait till you fucking.
Luke's or Drake's over there. Yeah, Luke's over there with his 50 cal Beowulf, literally shooting, like going crazy. And then Drake's over here driving his tank, literally playing Fortunate Son.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Oh, dude, that'd be dope.
God. See,
That'd
are
be
you
so
guys
dope.
are you guys gonna be like fighting against the aliens? Or are you joining them?
No,
I need to
Oh,
know.
I'm with him.
I'm joining. Oh, dude,
I knew it.
Nope.
They're
Luke,
gonna
I'm
help
with
me
you.
too.
Luke, I'm with you. Give me every part of that ammunition, brother. We're going full blown.
Nope,
If
I'm
you
in.
ain't,
Take me to the stars, baby.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Throw
When
me
it
in the
comes
black
to AI, like we can't. Drake's all for it. Aliens, he's there. He's like, we're gonna be like the guys on the inside, but not like for the war effort. We're
No,
still
no,
just
you- no,
buds.
no.
But we
I'm gonna.
can't-
Yeah, we're gonna hate. We're gonna be on opposite sides of the spectrum because Drake's over here like chilling, literally having like trying these aliens meals, while I'm over there like sniping them with like a 50 cal, like trying to like kill him or whatever. And then Drake's gonna be like, "Oh, that one over there, yeah, just chase him. He doesn't have much stamina."
Yeah, get that one.
Yeah, you just see me get stood up and just run 5 feet, collapse, and then just get eaten. Oh, yep, that was it.
Yeah, just walk up to him and just throw a bunch of rocks at his legs. That's how you
It's
do it.
really funny. We do it on Earth all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and that Luke guy over there.
More globbing. They go.
Oh, that Luke guy too. Yeah, just throw something spicy at him. Anything spicy, piece of pepper,
Yeah.
anything is spicy. It'll stop him in his tracks.
He'll stop in his tracks. He'll be on the ground rolling
Mayonnaise.
out.
Throw some mayonnaise on him. Too spicy for him.
The vinegar.
Yeah, some vinegar.
Yeah,
Vinegar, too
Luke's
spicy.
Little bit of dirt, you know.
Luke's
spicy.
vinegar is like cayenne pepper. It's fucking just
Yeah.
you know.
Right?
Shit.
That's the burn that I like.
That's the burn that I love. Oh, that's funny.
But
So yeah, so I definitely I definitely think what he, man, it's just so wild that there's two situations that have happened within a month that are just so credible, man. It's almost scary. Luke, I told Drake and I had this theory that this guy is actually, like, they realized how badass this guy was, and they're like, dude, you're a kick-ass guy, and like we said, what was his name? We're like, this is Jeff. So Jeff is the whistleblower. All the government knows he's the most badass guy. He remembers everyone's birthday. He was always
He's an
there for
awesome
every
dude,
kid's.
you know.
Just an awesome
Nobody
dude.
that badass
Jeff,
named Jeff.
Jeff, just a kick-ass guy. Okay, this guy named Jeff is just a kick-ass guy.
It's a code name, dude.
Fucking
Oh,
badass.
okay.
Yeah.
The shot.
Yeah, his actual name is Blade, but they have to call him Jeff to kind of
Yeah,
normalize
dude.
him to
Oh,
America.
okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
His real name is fucking Slade.
Yeah,
Blade.
dude.
Slade
I get
Roanoke is my name, you know.
Yeah. He's
Slade,
just an absolute,
fucking Slade Roan.
but the best guy. Like, he remembers everyone's birthday, you know, any kind of
Yeah,
holiday
dude,
you're
he's
celebrating,
totally
he gets you a
awesome,
gift
dude.
for it.
You're having a
So they're
bad
like, you know
down
what?
day, you kinda
We're
know
gonna
you
make
can take a
you-
banana, you know.
We're gonna make you whistleblow for the U.S. government so that we can slowly start to realize that these fucking things are real, and we want the government. We actually want the citizens to know about it, but we're gonna coddle them into it. So they're bringing out Jeff, you know, Slade Roan here, Jeff, to whistleblow and basically be, hey guys, just letting you know, yeah, there's things going on. The U.S. government's gonna be like, no, and then there'll be another incident that'll happen 6 months from now, and they'd be like, oh, guess what, guys? U.S., this is what's going on. And then U.S. will be like, oh, okay, well, maybe there's onto something here. And then it's going to fall into the situation now where we believe, everyone believes, no one freaks out, mass panic, and then we approach it and move on. And
The government
and
has
tackle it.
killed presidents before to keep secrets. I don't
Yeah.
I don't think they'll mind this guy.
No.
You know, they'll find a way. They're
Definitely.
scumbags.
Yeah. No, see, that was my thing. So I do have a lot of like interesting things that we can talk about, going like over like possible things that are evident as well, like evidence to like show some interesting stuff. Like there's this dude John Wallace. I'll try to find his name. He's actually taken pictures of like actual like craft in outer space. And that the pictures are fucking crazy. And then there's also like on the reverse side of like showing off, like having like evidence that would help support him. There's something I have that would make it very interesting in like the opposite of what he's doing, you know. So like in my thoughts right now, in my head right now, there's either A or B. What's going on right now? There's either A or B. A is the one that I'm really hoping that it is. You know, everybody wants it. Everybody's looking at A. Everybody likes A. Everybody wants A. Everybody needs A. A is good, you know. And then B, we don't want B. Nobody likes B. Get away from me, you stupid B. I hate you Bs. I hate you Bs. I hate you Bs. You know. A is that there are actually aliens. They are actually visiting us. The U.S. government actually does have these. He is actually whistleblowing this because he actually wants to make a difference and bring these new material and information to the public light so we can further advance our society in massive leaps and bounds by using this technology. The more eyes and more hands and more intelligent scientific thought processes we have on these things, the faster we can decode it and utilize it in our existence, you know.
Yeah.
And then also we can help to know like there are these other things out there as well. We're not alone. We need to do something just in case if they are decide to become hostile. B is that this is like a triple uno reverse from the government to further corral like civilians and push for a one world government and where we give up less of our freedoms to have more restrictions because of the possible looming threat of an advanced, a hyper massively advanced civilization coming in and just wiping us out. And I have evidence for both. I have evidence for both sides. Not evidence, but I have suggestive information to correlate both sides as well.
Interesting.
So we'll go with side A here first off. Let me share my screen again. The guy's name, John Leonard Walson, right here. Okay. This guy, John Leonard Walson, he used a specialized form of photography that he basically took X-rays of something and then like infrared of something and then another version of it and overlaid all three together, and it would show like an actual an image. And he was able to do that with the ISS, the International Space Station, a couple space shuttle that were floating around in outer space, as well as like satellites as well. So I mean, this is actually like an actual, it works 100%. There's no denying that this works in close orbit objects. Well, I don't want to click on it because it's on Facebook, but
Look at that.
Here we go. Like these are things that he's catching in our orbit. And these would be massive, you know.
Yeah, like what the fuck is that?
Yeah. These are giant.
That one blows my mind.
Crap.
That one that you're hovering on
Right?
blows my mind.
This one, yeah, look at that, dude.
That's nutty.
Like all of these, you know, all different. Like this one's the same one multiple times, you know.
Fuck,
right here
that's
as well,
crazy,
you know?
dude.
Like, so I mean, he's getting the same object and same craft multiple fucking times. Like, you know, like look at this. It's all the same craft. You can clearly see it.
Yeah.
It's just in different. It's just floating in different angles and different side. You know, from where he's at. You know. So this is just super like. What
Could those just be really fancy ice crystals?
These are large too, dude.
I know that's what I'm saying though. Just like a massive, large ice crystal. Like there's a bunch of them floating around, kind of in the same. And they're just like, the way that their element is made, that they make them shape like that, kind of like how like salt is like. You know what I mean? Like,
so there's no ice crystals in outer space. The only thing that like icy in outer space would be like a comet. And comets don't look like this.
No, you're right.
Comets have like an actual.
I don't want to believe that, man. That really freaks me out.
Right, like that's pretty crazy. Like, look up his story. It's anybody looking John Leonard Walson. Look up his story. Super freaking interesting.
Fuck, that's weird, man.
Super freaking interesting. Let's see what this video is here. Yeah, so I mean, like, he was able to freaking zoom in and like see the fucking spacecraft and shit of like the NASA on the moon and shit. You know, like, so his like his technology. I mean, the stuff he's using is actually legit. He's actually showing you actual things that is caught, that is real, that we know are up there. You know. So like, super freaking interesting.
That's insane,
like the
bro.
stuff that he has there, you know.
That one freaks me out, man.
Yeah.
That one.
Right? This one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so
just
strange, dude.
crazy. Like what is this stuff? Furthermore, like I was mentioning earlier, so they mentioned this in the interview as well, that we do have a signed treaty with Russia that says that whenever we do see something that is anomalous in the sky, flying around that's not ours, and we know isn't anything part of our allies, we will let Russia know, as well as Russia doing the same thing as well. This was signed, I think that's said by Nixon, right?
Yeah.
Nixon and whoever was in charge during Russia.
Yep. They basically they said like, if you see something coming at and investigating your silo, you know it's not going to be us. Like, we're not going to instigate anything with you guys. So you guys know if there's anything around there, it is not us. Don't point your missiles our way. We do not want that flak. You understand that
check
if
with
we
us first and shit, you know.
Yeah, check with us first. If you know, if we will let you know if we plan to ever have aggressive actions, you will know. Like they were giving them that. You know what I mean? Like they were letting them know.
So that was like an actual signed thing. by the U.S. and Russia, you know, which why would they need to sign something if there's not fucking aliens flying around and like saying that this, you know, is a thing, you know? So there's some pretty interesting evidence there. Well, not to mention, again, I mentioned it earlier. We had the guy from Israel who said that aliens are real, as well as the high military commander from Canada who said that they were real, as well as a few other NASA employees that also said it was real. We have the documentation from when the Roswell plane crash first happened, and they said it wasn't. It said it was a flying saucer that crashed, and then they retracted it to something else, and then they retracted it again. They retracted it to a weather balloon, then they retracted it again to a high altitude spy balloon. From there, and then we also have not to mention the guy that designed and created some of the world's stealthiest and fastest planes ever to be designed. The SR-71 Blackbird, as well, going forward from that, said he got the idea and the shape of the SR-71 Blackbird was when he was out in a pilot and he saw these silver discs skipping through the sky. So I mean, he literally saw alien spacecraft himself, and he says he's 100% a full-on believer as well. There's evidence that says that there's black reel from when the astronauts were landing on the moon, and the moon was revolving. They had to revolve around the moon for a full rotation before they dropped it back down, and they got back behind the moon, and the video cut out. They said it cut out because you can't transmit from behind the moon, which we all know that's you have satellites and set up in orbit. That's how we're able to track the ship, because otherwise would we just fucking guess what's going on behind the moon, So we can easily send it to ping it around by satellites. But the feed was cut and then brought back up again after the astronauts said something very interesting that was down there. I can't remember exactly what he said, so I'm not going to quote it. As well as like numerous. There was a really crazy at Area 2, it's called. I can't remember the Air Force base that it's next to. Nellis Air Force Base.
Nellis?
There's it's a nuclear silo, and these soldiers are out on patrol, and all of a sudden they see these two headlights driving towards it. Well, they say like a lot of civilians don't know that this Area 2 is part of the U.S. military, so they kind of drive through the desert and they don't really know what's going on. So like, okay, we'll send out 2 Humvees to go and escort, intercept these 2 lights and escort it back out. And all of a sudden the 2 lights went dark, turned off. So all of a sudden, like, oh, hang on now, this could be a possible threat. Why would these, turn off their headlights if they didn't want to know we were there? Nothing on IR, nothing on infrared. So they sent out the two Jeeps, Humvees, with IR on, out to the last known position of the lights. They got there with the K9 unit as well, smelling around. Nothing was in the area at all. And then all of a sudden they got radio broadcast from home base saying, "Oh, the lights are converging on you. There's one from north, south, and east. They're all converging on you. It's being positioned." So the soldiers went back up against the truck and put their guns up and everything. They didn't see anything that was going on. And then all of a sudden they lost contact with home base. So they stood their ground for a while, didn't see anything happening. And then home base saw the lights converge on the soldiers and then blank, nothing was going on. And they didn't see any movement in their IR infrared as well from that far in the desert. They were a couple miles away at this point. And then the soldiers decided, okay, nothing's there. They turned around instead of heading back, and then all of a sudden communication came back, and home base said, "Yeah, come on back. Is everything okay? Come on back." So they came back and they discussed it further on, and they had home base said that they were only out there for like 5 minutes, and they said, "No, we were out there for 25 minutes," and so they matched up their clocks, and the clocks were off.
Wow, dude.
The same Air Force
Holy
base.
shit.
They were gonna do an attack just in case if like an enemy force took over the nuclear silo. They want to attack the silo so our soldiers would know what to do, how to get to it, And all of a sudden the commander comes down and says, "Hey, turn off the war games. This is a real threat. We have 2 individuals on infrared laying down in the behind the brush in the desert looking at us. We need to intercept these now." So the soldiers instantly got on their Humvees and took off down there. They didn't have proper equipment. They just had their standard ARs and everything that was going down, M16s. So they drove the 2 Humvees. They got out. The 2 Humvees stayed behind with 50 cals ready to go, and the soldiers lined up in a line formation and walked the desert. The guy the home base was talking to them. Yeah, they're laying down. They're backing up. They're backing up. Keep advancing forward. So the soldiers are advancing forward, so they can't see anything because they didn't bring any lights or anything. They just took off right away. So they can't see anything. They're looking to apprehend these 2 individuals. The home base says, "Okay, you're 5 yards away. You're 5 yards away. Keep advancing." And a couple seconds later, you're right on top of them. You're right on top of them, and then all of a sudden, gone. Like, oh, they're not there anymore. They're not there anymore. And then finally, a third patrol came up and he had IR and infrared goggles on him. So he turned them on and looked around, and the sand where these 2 individuals were laying was warm, but they're both gone. They just disappeared completely. You know, like another crazy fucking thing. And then the third one from this Air Force base is what I mentioned before. Again, ball of light came down, stopped on top of the nuclear silos, turned this nuclear silos off, waited there until we scrambled jets. Jets got within firing range, safe firing range from within a nuclear silo. It's got to be pretty fucking close, and you got to use small munitions for it. I'm guarantee. You know, and then just took off instantly. And then after it took off, the nuclear silos turned back on and everything. So I mean, pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Not to mention like tons of other high end, like well respected military officials telling stories or whatnot about what they've seen. Not to mention the fact that we have those videos that have been released from the U.S. government saying, yeah, these are unidentified flying aircraft. We don't know exactly what these are. You know, we have the videos for it and everything. There it is. We don't know what these are. So I mean, we already have the government saying, "Here's video. Here these things are."
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's like, "Ah, it's probably fake. That looks like a jet." You know, like which it does. It does look like a jet. If you watch a video of a jet in IR and then watch that video of that as well, they look very, very, very similar. But that's if you're gonna say that, you're ignoring not only the pilot's vocal recording on the video saying that these are an alien spacecraft and they're moving really fast. We don't know what this is. I can't tell. I can't keep up. You know, what blah, blah, blah. And also the fact that the government released the video saying, yeah, we don't know what these were. They are a UAP and we can't catch them. You know, if it was even if it was a fucking Su-35, the fastest, most nimble plane in the entire world, we could still catch it. You know, like we'd still be able to intercept it. Like it's, you know, in a straight line, our F-35s and F-16s are a lot faster. It just then turns and banks. This thing can outbank us, you know. So I mean, it's not like we wouldn't be able to intercept it at all. But these things we could not. We can't intercept. We can't do anything against. He was saying about us shooting some down. He said he wasn't 100% sure if we did do that or not. My theory is based on how much they mess around nuclear reactors, as well as we had an increased ramp up of sightings after we had dropped our first nuclear bombs and during all the nuclear bomb testing as well. We had a pretty large increase in I think that nuclear weaponry is one of the pinnacles of weaponry that can be out there, because it happens on a molecular level. I mean, think about it. Some of the largest, most powerful things in the entire universe use nuclear fission. Yeah. Magnetars are just one step below a black hole.
We would have definitely gotten someone's attention.
Nuclear fission, you know. So I mean, if this is, let's say, there's other weaponry out there that could be just as advanced, but this is one of the things that is a big game changer. And if let's say we launch a mini nuke at one of these aircraft and hit it, it probably would destroy it. You know, I don't think there's any way you can stop molecular fission from happening. You know, even if you had like a quantum generated flux force field or whatever, some bullshit. You know, some sci-fi shit like that. Like I highly doubt like a nuclear fucking missile is not going to do anything to it. You know. So I mean, that could be my reason why they come in and they're showing force to the military, saying, "Hey, look, if we were gonna do things, we can come in and we could just turn these motherfuckers off. You can't fire shit at us. Then what are you gonna do? You know, like they're just showing how much more capable they are than us. You know, because what other reason would they have to actually come in and turn off nuclear silo like that?
Yeah, they don't care.
You know, like what other reason would they have?
they're existing and they know that we exist. They're like, we don't care if you guys know that we're around. We're not going to make ourselves known to you, but we just want your government to know, like, if you're going to get serious, we have some weapons that defy anything that you will ever understand. So, yeah.
So that was all like the stuff off the top of my head. There's tons and tons and tons and tons.
Yeah, obviously there's tons more.
There's the crash that happened in, well, not the crash, the actual meeting that happened in, I think it was Zimbabwe, where this spaceship came down and fucking met tons of children, and all these kids drew similar, identical pictures to one another in separate rooms when fucking asked about this later on, and they all exactly have the same exact story, and it stayed exactly the same this entire time. Yeah. Which, like, for a group of 30 fucking children to do that is pretty fucking, like, astounding, like
someone would have cracked by now.
Yeah,
That's wild. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty insane. Luke, do you have any closing comments for yourself?
No, I want to believe it all. I want to 100% put a nail in it that there's aliens out there. But man, it's just there's just so
like
much.
I said, in our lifetime, in our lifetime, it's wild.
I would love to in our lifetime, but holy shit,
Drake,
I don't know. I want concrete shit. That dude says that he's got a video of it. Show us. Then I'll fucking believe it all.
He fears for his life, though.
Till then, it's just a thought of, yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. Right.
But
definitely.
Oh man.
Yeah, in another podcast we can go over. I want to say his name was Richard Daugherty. I tried pulling him up just now, but I couldn't find anything about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we can touch some more on it.
He basically worked for the government in I want to say it was the CIA or something like that, or it was like maybe the Air Force's version of the CIA, I suppose, or something like that. This dude lived next door to a Patterson Wright Air Force Base, I want to say, and was seeing some weird things in the sky. So they started building in from objects and whatnot to try to like keep in touch with these things or like capture them, so he can show the U.S. military, hey, this shit's happening above you guys, And he was a defense contractor for the military as well, so that's why he lived so close. So then the U.S. military sent this dude over to him to feed him false information about an actual impending UFO attack and shit. The dude went insane and is now admitted to a mental hospital. And Richard Daugherty now says that everything that was leaked, there were like 4 lies and 1 truth. And now that he's learned of all the truths, he's a full-on believer. But it's just like, is that another, thing? Like, oh, well, it's something bad that we did, but then because we did this something bad, he found that the actual truth in the bad thing that we did, and now he's a believer because the aliens are real. Believe it, guys. When it could just be like a double, triple reverse Uno card, trying to make us fucking think again.
Trying to make us believe believe because of a guy of a single believer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. I want to say his name is fucking Richard Daugherty, but I can't fucking.
We can touch on it. So
we'll later on.
We can touch on it. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said, if you, if you're at this point, you've already watched part 1, because we would have severely been upset if you haven't watched part 1 yet, and are only on part 2.
But you know what I say, Luke? Before we close out completely, what are all 3 of our final thoughts? We know Doc's, and Doc says he wants to believe, but he wants
I'm there. I'm there, but I need the stuff.
What's on a percentage of like 0 to 100%? Like, what percentage do you think you are of believing?
I've always been like high up there. I'd say probably I've always been like 80. And then after like something like this, that's pretty cool, and I think adds a lot. Like the thing that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
It takes me to about an 85. because then it's more evidence. It's instead of just stuff that you hear people say, yeah, well, we saw a UFO in this town. No, this is actually like something cool to consider.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
I would say I'm like an 85 out of 100 for sure.
Okay, Luke. What about you? Where would you say you're at in this?
So I honestly would go with I'd go 98%. I honestly have already come to terms the fact that I okay, I'll say this, and if anyone watches the show, you'll probably understand if it's opened up for you as well. But
245.
to
Oh, sorry, it pinched my hair and my leg between my fucking
just,
cord.
I just love the fact that you have learned German, so you're now cussing in German, just upset at yourself. It's so great. It's so awesome. So funny, dude. I'm at 98%, and I firmly am already the believer that we have encountered things. So okay, yeah, so my point was, if you've watched this show, and the show is Rick and Morty, if you've watched Rick and Morty, you just realized how many infinite timelines there actually are, and I genuinely believe that there are. And that show just kind of opened it up for me to the fact that we realize, like, for us to be alone in the universe, in this existing universe, is beyond ridiculous. The fact that we are the only thing in this universe is beyond an insane thought at this point.
Yes.
Now, to think that from that percentage of whatever is out there of organic or non-organic life that has developed in a different way than us, or maybe a similar way than us, has now been able to get to its own evolutionary life cycle where it can basically visit us without us knowing, then so be it. And I'm comfortable with it. I'm along for the ride. I'm just enjoying all the new stuff that comes out. Just makes me more happy that one day we will. And like I said, I really hope in our lifetime we win the lottery of being the first ones in human existence to. If you think about all of us three right here, is a minute portion of this entire world's life's souls that have lived from now until we were basically apes. You know what I mean? From that entire evolutionary life cycle, us three are nothing. And the fact that we could be friends and be able to witness this be the actual real thing that unites humanity is insane. It would be winning the lottery. It really would. It would be so cool to just sit back and enjoy the ride. I don't care how long it takes, but I'm sure in our lifetime that something massive will happen. So
yeah, we can really only hope. And I don't know. I think the more that comes out, the more I will believe. Just more videos.
Yeah. I
Instead
think
of, like, stories are great to me. I like them because I love stories, but they are stories. So it's like the more shit like this that I can see is even fucking better. But I do agree with you. Like, the thought that we are the only ones in this entire fucking really, it's a load of shit.
That's a little silly, 100%.
Now, what I'm saying, I pretty much am like, I want to believe, but I don't, is these kinds of aliens they're talking about, like War of the World kind of aliens. These crazy fucking creatures or weapons and all that shit. You know, I also think
War of the
about what if
Worlds,
there's just
man.
another planet out there with a civilization just as advanced as we are. They couldn't even they're barely making it to their own moon. And they don't know that we're out here.
Yeah, exactly. There very well is that style of entity out there. Man,
that's the kind of alien I do really, really think I believe more than the ones that are just coming all the way here and they're crashing and they're doing it every 5
maybe
years.
one day we'll find each other, or maybe one day we're just looking in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
I hope so. Exactly.
There's a really awesome analogy for this, like, life out there. So for me though, I will, before I say the analogy, I will say life out in the universe, 100%, hands down, without a doubt, there is 100% life out there.
Yes.
Intelligent life out there somewhere in the universe, again, I'd say 100%. I wholeheartedly believe that there is other intelligent life out there somewhere in the entire universe, 100%. Intelligent life forms visiting us on Earth, honestly, if it wasn't for that one night, I don't know if Luke, if you remember this or not, we were in the back of the trailer park and we were looking up at the sky and we seen that one really bright light travel along the horizon, going across and stops and zigs down, and stops, zigs back again, and keeps going across the sky until it fades out. I don't know if you remember that or not, but
I
as
don't know
soon
if
as
I do.
saw that I remember we were standing on the rock pile in the back there, dude. I remember that night like vividly. Like that's what like really first
Yeah,
made me
rock
kind
pile.
of start
Yep.
thinking of like alien life and whatnot. But ever since I saw that,
I think I
and
remember
also
that.
like the high credible, not just like my story of seeing that, you know, not like other people's shit like that. That wouldn't really necessarily make me. If I never saw that and other people just kept telling me this shit, I necessarily wouldn't believe it, like ghosts.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
you know,
100%
Yeah.
like
but
ghosts.
I think because we have such high credible people saying that they've witnessed and they've encountered these things, I think that leads credence to the fact that there is life here on Earth visiting us. You know, um, I'm not gonna say I'm not 100% again because again, to say something without a shadow of a doubt, without the physical evidence there, isn't there. But having high credible um, people does hold up in a court of law. So I will say that leads me to be at 95% that we are being visited. You know, and then the really cool analogy that I will say is imagine like in your outer space. Okay, imagine like if humans were ants. Okay, and the ant is in the land and it's creating its thing, and it's like, hey, I wonder if there's anything else out there. I wonder if there's anything else above other ants out there besides just my colony. Let me just come out of my hole and I'll walk across the ground here for a little bit. You know, the ground's slightly different, but I mean I've seen this in other locations. It's nothing similar. There's the ant out, but there's nothing here. I don't see anything. I don't hear anything else. There's nothing here. I've put out my little feelers. I don't smell any other scents. Everything I know I've tested for. There's nothing. We must be alone. Let's see. Now take the camera that the ant is on. It's in a third party view. You zoom the camera out, and the ant is standing on the side of a superhighway with tons and tons of vehicles traveling all around him. But because he's not smart enough to know what a superhighway is and what vehicles are, he'll never sense them until he's up to that point. So imagine if that ant is us. We're out here, we're looking around, we can't see anything, but because we're just not advanced enough, we don't have the capability and technology to actually communicate with other life forms that are possibly smarter than us or above us.
Yep. That's 100% believable.
You know,
There's
So,
I have to say really quick, I think my favorite thing that would come from like aliens and because I said War of the Worlds before, so it made me think of it. Can you imagine that like our common cold could be like the deadliest virus to them?
oh god,
yeah,
yeah.
They
100%.
don't have the just I'd say any bit of an immune system that we have from our planet and our diseases and
They
whatever.
might not know what oxygen is. They might not know what
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I imagine they would, but at the same time, they maybe it's like the same thing as taking your helmet off in space. Nobody's done it, but we know.
Yeah,
Like,
we know.
we
Yeah.
get it. Like,
And
Yeah.
oxygen is one of
So-
the main elements, you know. So I mean, like
yeah,
they'll know what oxygen is. And I
yeah.
can,
So it's
and
like,
I also think like that would be a neat idea to have like, you know, okay, these aliens come to visit Earth and all of a sudden, oh, well, they forgot about one silly thing, fucking disease and shit, you know, where it's
water.
just like, okay, where they grew up, they didn't have disease. Like there's
Or
life,
different
you
disease.
know, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they didn't have a type of version of virus or a version of bacteria or a version of parasitic infections at all, like where they live. If they developed on a planet that has them on it, then that planet also has other forms of life on it as well, because that planet can hold life just like Earth. There's
Yeah.
not going to be one single form of life living on a planet that can host life. So the fact that they
And-
would know that, so if again, but going further, if that species becomes hyper sentient and hyper intelligent, then they would have a way 100% to where they can wipe out all disease on their planet as well as give them 100% immunity to anything that could possibly thrive anywhere.
And
They
the
can travel the cosmos, they can do that.
The worst part about that too is that they could be the ones that have the parasites and give us like
Oh,
a thing
they,
where
they,
like
they definitely can give us give
us shit. Yeah,
100%. Now that's a real fucking threat, like for sure.
that's scary, dude.
Just like the Spanish Inquisition, not the conquistadors that came to the South Americas, and the
just wiped
pilgrims
them
that
out,
came
dude.
to Americas, just wiped them out. Smallpox just came in and just fucking ate their ass.
Yep.
And then some of
definitely.
of course, there are reports that some of the conquistadors they did get sick as well, but there wasn't anything that they had better medicine, so they could able to fight it and help out. But the smallpox just wiped out fucking that. So I mean, again, you can have a more advanced like species come here to us, and we could be the ones very massively vulnerable to that kind of bio attack. And I mean, that would be one of the easiest ways that they would just wage war on us. And why come down and shoot and have a physical confrontation with us when you can just make a fucking biological thing to come down and just wipe us all out, that we just have to breathe, and that's it.
There's no
Drake,
rules.
Drake, you want to
They
close out
just
your?
very well be like they want this planet, and they'll take any means necessary. Why the hell come down here?
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, that's just it. So. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. That's definitely more interesting food for thought. We're definitely going to touch on this some more later on. So boys, it's been another pleasure. Luke, we're happy you're back alive. And I will end on this. What do you believe?